No, not me.
No, we're not going to ask Kat. I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. Good evening. You can tell I'm flying by the seat of my pants, as I forgot to ask one of the players to do our recap. Hello, welcome to D8 Dungeon. This is Saving Grace, our season 2 of our Gothic horror series here. A wonderfully eerie, some say seductively terrifying spin-off from Romancing the Dungeon. I find it horny. I don't know about the rest of you. Okay, but that's just me.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. It is I've been really looking forward to picking this back up, especially where we left it off last time. But before we and I hurriedly give you the recap, a couple of quick things. We are D8 Dungeon. If this is your first time around here, welcome. We are a group of TTRPGers based mostly in Ireland, but we have friends and players all around the world who come together to help tell some really fun stories that we like to then share with the world, whether it is to have a laugh, have a cry, or have a think about something. We love to use TTRPGs as a platform for expressing narratives and characters. And you can find more of our content. We stream here every Monday and Thursday live on Twitch with Saving Grace, Beyond Horizon's Edge, Random DMs, and Ben and Declan on a Roll, our TTRP talk show. If you're like, nah, Twitch is fine, that's a lot of Twitch though. We also have an award-winning podcast called Romancing the Dungeon that drops every second Friday. Our Halloween special dropped last week, so there's another episode out Friday week, not this Friday, the following Friday. And if you are into drama and romance and a little bit of comedy there's a lot of comedy thrown in there, and you want to know what D&D would be like if it was about players looking for love, characters looking for love, not the players looking for love. Well, I've got the next season planned out. So we all start kissing and, into the microphones. It's just descending into chaos. It's been a long Monday. Did someone just say get in there? No? Okay, that was just my head then. Okay.
That was a Freudian slip.
Whoa.
I definitely heard someone just go, get in there. Like, and it also kind of whispered. I was like,
you just
you're
horny ghost in your.
I mean,
in your
Eilish said something that came up on the subs that.
Oh, scandalous.
Gotcha.
This is the real game, is that Eilish has to sit there in silence for the next 60 minutes, maybe a bit longer, before we get to introduce them. If you're in Horny Girl, Zool44 with their Horny Ghost Alert. Yeah, 100%. It was like a weird ghostly whisper of like, get in there. Right? I'm pretty sure, I'm going to listen back. I'm pretty sure one of you did it and you're just messing with me now. Okay, so recap. This is we're coming into the third episode of Saving Grace. Our titular hero has left the city of Tezrab haunted by a ghost they thought they had left behind. They made their way to the village of Nukri, where they encountered two other passengers awaiting a ship to transport them to Cragfarnham Island. There, Grace encountered Shuyet and Xander, two fellow travelers who, after a brief encounter with some locals, decided it best to keep their distance from Grace and the way in which they behaved in a brawl. On board the Blue Mary, the ship bound to take them to Cragfarnham Isle on its journey to the kingdom of Rothaham. Grace, Xander, and Shuyet found themselves kind of befriending most of the crew, in particular the first mate, Rin Gale. And after getting to know some of their fellow passengers, they not quite a stowaway and not quite a visitor, a passing boat adrift on the swirling black, came to the attention of the crew on the Blue Mary, and on board now came an older woman, hardened and wizened by the sea. They demanded an audience with the ship's captain after filling their belly, keeping mostly to themselves. The character who would later come to be known as Pale Nancy encountered Captain Renard in their captain's quarters, only to then find themselves at the mercy of a rather confused and panicking captain. In that same moment, the ship came across a torrential storm that has already taken the life of a crewmate who fell from the crow's nest, or fell from the mast as she attempted to climb the crow's nest. Juliette, Xander, and Grace find themselves now roped into helping out and keeping the Blue Mary afloat in the middle of the storm. And uh, as the storm rages against the ship in the dark of the night, Pale Nancy came to consciousness, adrift a small lifeboat, and they weren't alone in it. And that is where we pick the session up. Nancy, you find yourself, your hands bound by rope. You are soaked to the bone, but it's nothing new. You are frozen with the cold, but it means you can breathe. It means you're alive. What your eyes fix on aren't the swirling, writhing hills of black sea water in the distance, rising, crashing, and falling, sending crazed white horses dashing across the rippling black surface. It's not the Blue Mary wrestling weakly against the currents and the winds. It's not the scream of the wind or the shouts and orders from aboard the vessel. It is the figure of a young woman on the other end of the small lifeboat, her body kind of contorted. She stands at a very slight, gaunt frame, twisted like an S hook. Her body, her bones, her back seem to be bent unnaturally as she looms over you, and you just see these elongated claws, the stench of seawater, deep, deep, murky sand is unmistakable. And they mask something else, something that no matter how dulled your senses were, no matter how away and out of yourself you were, you could never mistake. She stinks of death. And it lumbers towards you, and you hear the clanging of chains as it does.
Oh no. My hands are tied behind my back.
They're bound up in front of you.
In front of me?
Yeah.
Okay. Could she try a maneuver down to her bush where she'll have one of her daggers and try to whip out her dagger and free her hands?
Give me acrobatics to kind of twist yourself.
Yes, acrobatics. Oh, I'm good at those. Hey, 19.
It's that motion where you bend, like you like keeping your movements slow and slick. They're not rushed, they're not panicked, they're not startled. It hasn't moved. She sees you, and beneath the black strands of hair that hang over her face, the way black and brown seaweed clings to the rock of a cliff, you know that behind that wet black mess, there is an eye or eyes watching you, waiting. You feel them on you, Nancy, as you pull your legs up to yourself, kind of bending them closer, tucking them into your chest. And there, with your ring fingers and your baby fingers, you inch towards your boot and you slowly take out a dagger and you snap the rope free. Your wrists are sore. You can feel kind of they were wrapped tightly, and in that motion with the rope free, the creature takes a half step towards you, and again you hear the snagging of chains against the timber frame of the boat.
Nancy is going to she is going, I don't know if it's going to work because it's a ghost. She is going to use one of her pact magic, and she's going to summon a tentacle of the deep to rise out from the water and try to swipe this ghost into the sea where it belongs.
Okay.
No ghosts on boats. That's like her one rule: no ghosts on boats.
I'm going to need to give you to give me a wisdom saving throw first.
Snow. Stop it. Wisdom save would be +5. I'm good at those. Oh, 11.
Meets it, beats it.
Oh,
A shiver runs down your spine. Not in the way that you would encounter a phantasmal creature. Because there is that moment, Nancy, where you're like, it's a ghost. This poor young woman, this is her ghost. She's tormented. She has died and doesn't know it, and um, you will send her free, and you can now cast your do I have to make a save against the tentacle swipe, or
let's see. Oh, it is to hit. It is to hit.
okay.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna hit. It's 10.
No, 10 doesn't.
Oh shit.
It is that thing, Nancy, as you like you feel the fear rise up in you, because there's a moment where you're not certain as to what this is. What the hell is she? And as you kind of as she steps forward, you take half a step back. There is nowhere for you to go. You step any more and you are going to tumble out into the swirling black without a ship, without support, in the middle of a storm. You're not frightened of death, but your death isn't to come yet. Your death isn't now. This would be before your time. This would be before you were told. And that happens. That can happen to anybody. But there is a moment, and that is the moment that you have been waiting for so long, Nancy. It would betray it. And that fear rises up in you again. And finding the lip of the boat, you can feel the cold, wet timber. Gripping it with your free hand, you lash out. And for a moment, it looks almost as if the swirling black itself, the sea, has come to life, as this ethereal eldritch tentacle whips up out of the black, inky sea and slams into the phantasmal creature. You hear a grunt. You hear a crunch, a wet slap as it strikes her. And then there is just and she starts screaming, crying. I need you. Oh wait, I need to check to see if this is a whiz save or a. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I think this might just be an attack roll. Oh, you have to give me another wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. Nope. 10.
Okay. Okay. Makes up if it takes damage. You feel a there's a moment where like you hear her cry, you hear her wailing in pain, and then for a moment, Nancy, your eyes, everything kind of like it's that way. The focus kind of goes. There's a moment where you kind of you can't see, like it's that like it's like something's gotten in your eye. You can feel the salt spray in your eye, and as you kind of go to wipe, there is just more black. And you rub your eyes again and again, and it's just getting blacker. It's your eyes are filling with this black ink, and you can feel it on your hands. And the smell, it stinks like rotting fish innards. And you have, as she cast eye bite on you, you feel a retching sickness roll up inside your guts, Nancy. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. At the
Oh
end,
no.
at the end of your turns, you can make a wisdom saving throw, and it is now your action.
Okay. I'm going to. I think first of all, bonus action.
Mhm.
I am going to take another swipe with the tentacle, like swipe and then swipe back at the ghost.
Okay.
And that is natural 20
Okay. Can you make 2 attacks with this, or is it that it's swiped out and then you just swipe? It's coming back across.
as a bonus action. No, as
Yeah.
just a bonus
Just-
action. I
just-
can
just
swipe
attack.
once.
Okay. And what's your main action then? What are you doing on top of that?
And on top of that, I'm going to. I think I'm just going to Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
We love a wee Eldritch Blast.
You can roll for Eldritch Blast as well.
Let's see. Oh, natural 20.
Okay. Roll
Okay.
roll the damage for both of those, and remember it's on a nat 20 in combat. Whatever the damage dice is, you do that automatically. So if it was a D8, you do 8 damage plus standard roll.
Okay, so Eldritch Blast will do 13 force damage.
Okay.
And then the tentacle will do. I need to start printing out my sheets again. It is going to be 11 cold.
Okay. And no. Okay. Okay. There's this moment, Nancy, where you're like, no. And you were supposed to make those a disadvantage.
Disadvantage. I just read that.
Yeah.
And I highly doubt I'm going to. Absolutely not. They'll still hit, but they're not. They're not
Right.
going to be.
Okay.
Let's see. So that is a.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
There's a really part of me there as the DM that just went, "Oh, that was nice." Oh yeah, that was at disadvantage. Let me just take those two nat 20s in a row. Emily Grace in chat. Wow, Declan. Well, that's the rules as written.
I'm so upset. There's like 2 natural 20s in a row. So that's still good. So the tentacle will do 10 cold damage.
Okay.
And the Eldritch Blast, not so good. It's going to do 6 force damage.
Okay. It's
God damn, it's 2 nat 20s in a row. And you
Yeah.
took them away from me. Can I at least roll my wisdom save?
You can now roll your wisdom save. Yeah. How do we give Declan disadvantage?
Yeah, I think I did a 23.
That's okay. Yeah, that's not his character, just him. Oh, Emily, if you knew me in real life, you would know that I am well prone at giving myself disadvantage in most situations that I exist in. Should count as 20. The first 2 rolls were both 20s, though, so the first hit should count as a 20, shouldn't it? So because they were for 2 separate rolls, Zool, that's the only thing. They were for 2. One roll was for Eldritch Blast, the other roll was for the tentacle hit. And we could have said we'll take one for the other, but we didn't. So thanks, Kat. But it's still enough. That's the cool thing. There is in that moment. Nancy, as you as everything starts to go black, and you feel there's just this, you feel the bile kind of building up inside your throat. It's that thing of you've encountered worst. You've tasted worse. You have been in the presence of death itself. Um, Phantasm or real monster, it doesn't matter. Um, if this thing is surrounded by death, it either is dead, which you've now kind of learned it isn't, or it has brought death to many. And that is the inclination that, as in your left hand, you conjure up eldritch energy and that twisting of magic. What is the color of Nancy's magic, her eldritch energy?
Oh, it's like lime green, like maleficent green.
The boat kind of illuminates a little the sea itself, but enough that you are, as you
Is that
that
just me?
you
No,
can.
no, it's not just you. Declan, you're kind of dropping out a little bit, and your voice
Okay,
is a little bit.
where did I? Where did you all use me?
I told you the color, the green, and then that was
Okay.
it. That's when you
The
went into
boat was
like
kind
the
of like illuminating.
latency. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We swapped to a new internet provider, and we haven't got the booster for my office yet, so I'll have it tomorrow. So if it drops again,
Yay.
just someone can prompt me on Discord or something like that, and I can shut up and pick it up. So apologies. Yeah, I was just saying, Nancy, that there is in that moment, as you pull the eldritch energy up around you, the boat is slightly illuminated, not enough to kind of cast any real light outside of the boat itself. The swirling black seems to drink the light. Uh, you, with your right hand, you slap out, and immediately that eldritch tentacle warps itself out of the black, uh, almost coiled around the boat. It jabs at this creature. She lets out a wincing wail, and you just hear her say, "Father, help!" And as you throw out the eldritch blast, it strikes her, catching her kind of in the shoulder, neck, and her chin. And as you see her spilling over the edge of the lifeboat, Nancy, you watch as chains follow her down, her left hand, her right leg, and her waist, bound in these rusted, heavy black iron chains. The other thing you catch as she sinks below the sea, the clothes she's wearing are rotting. They are waterlogged. They cling to her like a second skin. They look to be like the clothes a young woman might have worn at one stage. And then there is just a flash of lightning, and you see that the swirling black seems to be hell bent on drowning the Blue Mary and all those on board. We cut back to the ship where Grace, Xander, and Juliette find yourselves desperately trying to assist the crew. In these moments, um, you've been helping to tie down sails. You've been trying to assist with the assist with other passengers, making sure that everybody is kind of taken care of and mindful. One of the Rotherham visitors is also one of the travelers is also on deck, trying to assist. The body of that young woman who fell from the mast as she was assisting with the are trying to get to the crow's nest, has been kind of taken inside. The tourists kind of helped, the Rotham tourists kind of helped carry her in. And it's in this moment that actually I need all of you to give me perception checks at disadvantage. And yeah, so I was just saying, I'm just going to remind you that you've muted yourself. Just in
Yeah,
case.
yeah, I'm back up now. Yeah.
Oh. It's not the worst. 14.
Oh, 15 and a nat 20, but sure, I know. Yeah.
Mine was 11.
Okay. Um, but a 15 is just enough, Juliet. Um, uh, you see, Xander is currently helping Rin tie down one of the ropes that has kind of come loose. You see, Grace is desperately trying to carry things off deck that could be a death trap, could be an obstacle at worst, could be the thing that leads to someone falling over. Um, and wave after wave is just crashing into the starboard side of the Blue Mary, and water spills across. And as your cloak and cape are whipped up around you, there's a moment where you reach for the hood, kind of keeping it fast. Uh, that you turn, and you can see the captain. There's a moment where you just recognize um, Renard, sorry, from his heavy coat that he was wearing. He's standing at the rear of the ship. He's not. He doesn't seem to be helping. He's stood there watching. Um, what's everybody doing at this point?
I think I'd like to walk over to the captain.
Okay, you're going to try and approach Renard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aren't you in the crow's nest at the minute?
Oh, am I? Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. You had climbed up to help.
All right, never mind. I'm shouting directions.
Okay. So if you're going to try and kind of help continue for spotting danger and stuff like that.
What do I see, actually? What do I see?
So to be perfectly honest with you, next to nothing. You've no idea. Like, it is the dead of night. There isn't neither of the twin moons of Arcanum are visible. You don't see stars. You can barely see a couple of feet in front of the ship itself. But for the deck where people are, there's torches kind of illuminating different aspects of it. It's incredibly difficult, Juliet, to make anything out up here. Rin had barked the order at you to keep an eye out for any kind of rocks, to watch for the flashes of light from the sky. That the storm can kind of help illuminate things. Occasionally, you notice a large swell of the sea as it rises up and crashes down into the boat. You are holding on to the beam here, like the rail, for dear life, as you feel the ship sway violently. Um, this is where you're able to spot Renard. It's not that he's in hiding, but he's behind where his quarters are. Like, there's that small little kind of deck just at the back, the rear of the ship, that he seems to be sort of fixed at. Um,
Is he saying anything? Is he looking around?
if he is, you can't hear him, but he seems to be focused on whatever is out there behind him. Give me, because both in terms of where you are, I'm kind of automatically tying you to this one. If anybody else wants to take this action, you will do so at disadvantage, purely because you're at height. I want you to make a perception check for spot the danger. No advantage or disadvantage, just a straight perception roll. And you can hold on to the result in 2 seconds. Grace, what are you doing?
Grace is going to essentially run around trying to be an aid rather than a hindrance, considering when this all started, they were a bit checked out. They're going to be running around trying to secure anything that's loose, anything that's kind of moving around on deck, just trying to move things into a more secured place. So they're going to be doing essentially what I believe what Xander is doing, and that's trying to like tie things aside and helping anyone who seems to need it.
In this, there's a moment where you kind of approach Rin and Xander, who are currently tying down one of the that's that rope that had come loose. And as the pair of them kind of round it around a brass anchor and tie, Rin just shouts at you, "Stormfield, check the lifeboats."
Okay.
And they kind of just, they don't point because their hands are, but with just their head, they gesture down to the port side of the ship. Um, and so I need you to give me an athletics check, Grace. As you notice, there's two things you notice at this point. There should be, because you remember when you were coming on board the ship, you saw them. There should be two lifeboats here.
Mhm.
There's only one. One seems to
Mhm.
have already kind of loosened itself and is there's a large rope that's trailing off and down into the deep black, so it seems to
Uh-huh.
have been dragged.
Yeah.
The other lifeboat seems to be coming loose as well.
Okie
So
dokie.
an athletics check to steady the lifeboat, and
Yep.
again make your roll and then hold on to it. Xander,
Mhm.
you are currently assisting Rin, the first mate, um,
Yes.
with the rope tied down. Uh, Rin just kind of looks to you. I haven't seen a storm like this in months. The weather was bad, yeah, yes, but nothing like this. It's impossible.
Surely you know what the weather's going to be doing, no?
But the waves are coming from all sides. With the swirling black. She seems to want to drown us, and there is a. I'm not even going to get you to roll insight on this. There is a very honest, frightened look on the first mate's face. They seem genuinely panicking.
What did the ship do? To anger the sea?
We didn't do anything. I just forget it. It's probably just superstition. I'm addled. Um, Help Stormfield with the boats, and you see them tie off the rope, and immediately they move towards another part of the ship, and some of the other Blue Mary sailors are kind of doing something similar. They're kind of checking the mast, they're checking the sails, and you see that Grace is over trying to tie down one of the lifeboats on the port side of the ship.
On my way over to Grace, Xander's just going to kind of take a look. Are the kids that were aboard, are they on deck, or have they been like safely gone back to the living quarters or something?
Yeah, anybody that wasn't able to assist was asked to stay politely out of the way.
Lovely.
And most people had kind of kept themselves like, and the kids aren't, yeah, they're kids, but they know when there's danger, and they're kind of, the younger ones are definitely panicked, and the older two are trying to help their moms keep the younger ones calm, so they're still below deck.
Sweet. Okay, I will run over to Grace and start trying to help with the lifeboats.
Okay, Grace, what did you get on your steady the lifeboat?
I got a 25.
Nice.
Okay. It is that thing. There is actually a young dwarven man trying to tie it down, like kind of secure as you approach Grace, and you see
Mhm.
that one of the ropes has just like it's just ripped, like it's hasn't been cut. It just snapped from the sheer
Mhm.
force, um, and he's struggling to kind of hold it back. You reach out over the ship, and you can feel the cold hard wood kind of press into your rib cage as you strain over it. Your
Mhm.
fingertips reach the edge of the boat, and you manage to pull it back in. And it's at that moment, Xander, that uh, you see Grace, well, not single-handedly, but you see them reach over the thing at great risk. Uh, they pull one of the lifeboat back and help secure it as you approach. Um, you also notice the other lifeboat is missing, and you still see a rope that it was tied off with pulled down and into the deep black.
Um.
Oh, well, you seem to have got this under control.
Uh. Well, as controlled as possible. This doesn't seem normal. I've been on ships before, but this is this is odd. Grace is once they've tied off the boat, they're going to try and start pulling on the other rope that should have been linked to the other lifeboat just to kind of see where it's going.
Okay.
And they're also going to be scanning the water to see if they can see any sign of this boat.
Give me another athletics check.
Mhm.
And
I'll help her.
I was going to say, and Xander, if you're helping, it's going to be, it's not going to be at disadvantage because you'd be, effectively, you're fighting the sea currents.
Ooh,
Grace.
nice. That was a 26. I rolled a nat 20.
Okay. Uh, Juliette, what did you get on your perception check?
I got a 9, which is not ideal because I have +7 on perception. So
Oh
Okay.
no.
You have no idea what you're looking for. They didn't give you enough instructions. You don't see any obstacles, but you don't see anything. Your eyes linger on the captain, and there's a moment then where there is just this flash of light, like just this sheet lightning just explodes across the horizon, and for a moment, Juliette, everything is lit up, and on the captain, you do see that he is clearly holding something in his right hand. You you see something beyond the ship, but not enough. The lightning isn't enough to kind of paint the picture fully. And Grace, you pull, and yeah, the rope it's gone underwater, but it's gone underwater because it seems to have been snagged by the boat. And Nancy, in that moment, as the lightning flashes across the sky, you just feel there's a moment where the lifeboat is yanked. Whatever rope the ship is bound, boat is bound with, is pulled taut, and you almost lose your balance as somebody seems to be trying to rein the lifeboat back to the ship.
Do I have a view of the captain?
Give me a perception check.
Perception +5. That is a 17.
You don't see the captain, but you do see, and it's more of a feeling, in the same way that a fisherman knows when the line is going to go taut, that the fish is about to take the bait. Beneath the surface, you can feel that essence of death. You can feel that creature's presence. It is swimming away from you and towards the Blue Mary.
Feel Nancy. She's just going to sit down in the boat, stretch her legs a wee bit, take out a cigarette from her little pack, and just smoke and just watch the ship go down.
Okay. Um, Grace, are you still pulling on the rope?
Yep.
Okay. Like you, it feels like you're playing a tug of war with the sea, and there's a moment where you just feel your shoulders strain to the point that you expect one of them to pop any moment. You can
Oof.
feel it. You can feel the muscle and the tissue just stretching, and then just behind your hands, you see the pale, uh, well maintained, if not slightly dirty, fingernails uh, of Xander, the young man from the tavern in Nookery, just grip the rope, and the pair of you pull on it. And again, Xander, Jesus, you've no idea how Grace is holding onto it, but you pull, and the pair of you feel the boat giving um, as it hasn't sank. It's not being dragged. It is afloat, but it is going to take you 2 rounds to pull it in. Okay. Uh, in that Chouette, you see this. You can just see Grace and Xander pulling on this rope. Uh, the captain comes running around from behind his quarters. He is chasing the starboard side of the ship. He is watching something below, and you just hear him say, "No, Mary, no, no, no! It's Mary, don't!" And then there is just this blood curdling scream as the swirling black explodes and a torrent of seawater just erupts violently. and spilling out onto the deck of the black boards of the Blue Mary, there is the waterlogged, withered frame of a young woman, soaked through, curled up like rags, washed and beaten by the sea. She stays in this sort of what's that infant pose
The
thing?
fetal position?
Yeah, sorry,
Fetal.
the word wouldn't come to mind. Yeah, she's kind of cradled herself into that fetal position, and the water that exploded up with her seems to roil across her as if it's living. It slithers along her back, and it almost seems to embrace her, and then it splits in two as two water elementals uh, stand next to her, coiling and writhing like jellyfish. They don't have a humanoid form. Their form is, it's as if the swirling black uh, tried to personify itself, uh, but drew on what it knows from the sea, and what it knows of the sea are the creatures from within and the creatures that it devours. So it is partly human in its visage, but only the worst parts. The face looks to be sunken. It looks to be torn. It looks to be collapsing on itself. Its body slips and falls like dead skin, and they roil. And immediately the crew start to panic, and there is a hissing screech from the young woman. Father, I'm hungry. You promised. It's been weeks. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Hearing that, like Xander just kind of leans over to Grace. Don't mean to alarm you, but there seems to be something spooky on deck, and I don't really fancy our chances in those little lifeboats anyway. So do you want to just leave it?
Your headset, T.
Grace is just going to kind of like turn an ear to Xander and just kind of like look them in the face, because it's probably the closest we've ever been, and say, for some reason, even if we don't make it off in the lifeboats, they might be of benefit to somebody. It's probably safer to try pull it in if we still have it. If it wasn't attached, the rope would be in by now. It wouldn't be this heavy.
I just think that if the sea's going to swallow the ship, it's going to swallow these little boats. Well,
That is true. Can we hear what the spooking that's happening?
Oh yeah, you clearly heard her like she didn't whisper it. She screamed, "Father, I'm hungry. It's been weeks. You promised."
Okay. Can I just kind of like look over the edge to see if the lifeboat is in sight?
You, I'll give it to you as a free action. Give me a perception check.
Okay. Do I have anything that might help me? Nope. Okay. Perception. That is a 17.
You just see the lifeboat is still a bit away, but again, as the ship sways and is rocked by the force of that torrential explosion from the water, it kind of half turns, and there's a moment where and you feel, I'm gonna get actually both of you take 1 point of burning damage as your hands are
Ooh.
ripped by rope burn. Holding on to it, you spot Grace. You see the lifeboat, and there's somebody in it.
Right. I'm just going to like say, there's somebody actually in that boat.
Oh, you for real? Okay. And he'll keep pulling.
Okay. What did everybody get on their initiative rolls?
21.
11.
10.
12.
Okay. And sorry, Xander, what did you get? Oh, 21. Yeah.
21.
Emma, you got the 12, right?
No, I got 10.
Cat got 12.
I got 11.
God damn it.
She got 12.
Eventually, I'd get there.
Eilish got 12, actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
got 12 too.
We all got 12.
I got the mirror image of 12.
And okay. So that is X, that is G, that is yeah, no, that's gonna be Nancy, and that is for and Mary. Ooh, and actually. Oh. Oh, that's sad. Sorry, I made myself sad because I had a thought there. There's I made myself sad because I started thinking. Yeah, Xander, it's your action, and if you want to help continue to pull the boat in, that's your action.
I take it, like, with the two of us pulling this boat, will it come in quicker?
In 2 rounds, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
so if it happens quicker with both of us, then he'll just keep pulling.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll a strength check because you are doing the action. But what I want to get you to do is I want you to continue to roll to try and avoid getting injured by the rope because it is being pulled by the sea. So limbs getting caught or rope burn as it slips through your hand. So you can either make athletics or sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, please.
Okay. Which means, Grace, you'll be rolling athletics. I'm not having you both roll because if both of you did sleight of hand, you're going to let go of the rope. So
yeah.
Okay. Not bad. 17.
Yep, that's enough to avoid injury.
Okay.
It is that thing, Xander, as you are holding it, like there's a moment where you just kind of the strength goes from your body and you feel the rope slip. Your fingers are wedged beneath it and the rim of the ship. And you just manage to pull them out from under it as the rope goes tight. You could have lost 3 fingers.
Oh, God.
Not
ideal.
Yeah, you manage to kind of quickly just pull them away and then grab the rope again. Grace, what did you get on your strength?
This isn't a disadvantage, is it?
Nope.
Okay, so that's a 22.
Yeah, it's the
my athletics is high.
You're just you continue. It's like arm over arm. You're kind of pulling it in, and Xander seems to kind of again assisting, but it is getting most of that slack out of the way, kind of like tying it off so you don't lose the boat any further. And in that motion, Rin sees the pair of you, and it's just like is frozen at what's on deck, and it's Juliet. It's directly beneath you in the crow's nest. You see, like it's not in the crow's nest, but it's under you on deck, alongside the 2 water elementals. Rin is frozen, as are some of the crew. 1 or 2 immediately just run in like opposite directions to try and get away from it. It is Nancy. You're still in the boat. You're 2 rounds away. You haven't the foggiest notion at this point because it's too loud. There's too much happening for you to.
Nancy can see that the boat is getting towed in, though, isn't she?
Can, yes, yeah.
And Nancy doesn't know that there's actually stuff going on.
No, you do know that the creature, that entity, has made its way.
He opened the door. Did you see the dog? He thinks he's people. Oh no, I think the way that the frames are cropped, they won't see it.
No, you just seem crazy, Cat.
Yeah.
As I opened the door, I was like, I am people.
The dog opened the door in the background.
Nancy
Right,
has
anyway,
lost
what
it.
were you-
She's got the blue shivers.
What were you saying?
You know its presence is on the ship. I'll give you that for free. You because you picked up on it beforehand. You know it's on ship.
Nancy's gonna just do something badass because that's what I want to feel like. She knows the presence is on the ship, but she just wants to go up after the captain.
Okay.
Her whole prerogative is to not happy with the captain. She knows the boat is hunted. That's a big no-no. She wants this boat to go down, but she wants to take the captain down first. She's going to see that the boat, her little sailboat, it's coming in, and she's going to stand up. And with an action, I'm going to cast a green flame blade, which will summon a spectral lime green, blade into your hand. And then bonus action, I'm going to misty step onto the ship
Okay. Um,
at a spot I can see.
so the nearest space that you can see right now is kind of, if you follow the edge of the rope, you can clearly see that there's at least two people trying to pull it in. And you could that's where you can misty step to.
If she's going to misty step there beside Grace and Sander, was it?
Yep.
That
Yeah.
they're reeling it in. She'll just like misty step beside them. Sure,
Okay.
it's awful kind of you there, reeling me in like that.
Oh, hello.
There's that moment where Xander and Grace, the pair of you are just you don't know who it is. They stand up. There is just this flash of green light, and then they vanish, only to materialize kind of between the pair of you. Uh, and it's Pale Nancy. It's that woman from a few moments ago. Um, and the second you set foot on the ship, Nancy, the screeching, the wailing from that young woman gets louder, and she begins to cry out, "No, no, she hurt me. She hurt me." And there's just this rattling of the chains as she points this gnarled, clawed finger out at you. Uh, and the two water elementals surge straight towards the three of you. Um, and they both kind of rise in the same way you've seen the swirling black sea rise up and then slam down. They rise the same way. You see their bodies swell, lumber over, and then bring down two torrents of water against. So two are against you, Nancy.
No,
And I assume an 8 doesn't hit for the first,
it doesn't.
but an 18,
Oh, yes.
and take 5 bludgeoning damage.
No.
And then Xander and Grace, I need ye. Oh, no, I don't need you to do anything. Grace, does a 17 hit? You're muted again, T, sorry. Or you're.
Yes, it is.
And a 15, Xander.
Oh, yeah.
So it's 5 bludgeoning. Actually, it's 5 bludgeoning damage to the both of you. And immediately, there's a moment where none of you can breathe as you are almost engulfed by the elementals. They slam into you, and the water lingers for a moment. You feel it. You can taste the briny salt in your mouth. You feel it burn inside your nostrils. Your eyes sting. You gasp for air as they warble back. They hold themselves strong where they stand at the moment. And then it is Shuyet. It is your action.
So I'm still in the crow's nest, I guess.
Yes, you are.
Can I see the captain anywhere?
Yeah, you can see. So you from here and your vantage, the way the ship is lit up, you see everything. You see he's on the starboard side, Captain Renard. There's that creature on board the deck. She seems tethered by chains of some sort. And you saw Grace and Xander and that other woman from before. They've just been attacked by these water elementals.
Okay. Yeah, no, he doesn't care about that. So he
Thanks, buddy.
yeah.
Sound.
I think he'd like to talk to the captain if possible. So can he climb down, or is that too much movement? Or
So you'd have to give me an athletics check at disadvantage. Now, the last time you flew,
yeah. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I'll wild shape down, but is that going to be my action?
But it is. But talking isn't an action.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll do that then. Um, so yeah, I'll wild shape back into the seagull and try land down beside him if possible.
Yeah, and it's that sort of, again, the gull is that kind of gray, mottled, feathered kind of color, and it's you leaning over the railing. You fall forward as you shape. You feel your wings straighten out at either side. You glide down as the wind just wallops into you,
Mm-hmm.
but you feel it moving through your feathers. You feel it moving through your bones as you sort of swoop around. Um, in that moment, Shuyet, you see the woman, that creature. Uh, she lunges at a young dwarven man dressed in that the blue Mary's uniform, who seems to have been trying to get away from her. You land in front of Renard, shifting back, and she just you see like there's a look of absolute panic on the man's face. In his hands, he seems to be ringing like a necklace or a chain on his hands, and you can hear under his breath, "Mary, Mary, stop, Mary, 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 you have to stop, you have to stop, Mary. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you." And his eyes lock on you. You have to help her. You have to get her. She has to get back into the sea. I can't help her here. You have to, please. She's my daughter.
Um, he's he's beside him now, right? Like Shuyet's beside.
Yes, yeah, kind of like face to face.
He's going to try grab the necklace and try inspect it.
Uh,
How does it work?
are you trying to?
No, just
Oh,
generally looking
oh,
at it.
you're like so that thing. You're going to try and take it from him.
No,
Uh,
just investigating it. So just like picking it up to understand it.
you reach and he lurches back.
Mm.
You don't understand. Uh, uh, please, I'll give you whatever it is that you want. Just don't let them harm Mary, please.
What does this do?
And it's in that moment, not because I'm not ignoring the
Yeah.
question, so I'll come back to it when it is Renard's action. Um, uh, as you came down, you saw her maneuver. Like she literally turned towards one of the crewmates, um, that young dwarven man that had been helping Grace with the lifeboat. Yeah, she eviscerates him. She He runs in panic, and she is on top of him. Like she literally is
Renard?
off her
Oh
leg.
no, the dwarven man.
The young dwarven
Yeah.
sailor. She's on top of him. He starts screaming, "Help! Jesus, get her off! Help! Help!" And immediately her claws are in his hair, and she rips out a chunk. She sinks her teeth into his neck, and then her hands go behind his clavicle bone. He lets out a blood curdling cry of agony as she just rips, and there is a cracking of bones, and she just starts piling blood and skin and bone into her mouth. And she looks back. How many of you see this? How many of you are watching as you hear that sailor cry out his death cry?
Would I guess like would Grace and I see that because we're kind of like if he was helping with the ropes, is he kind of beside us?
You have
Yeah.
vantage on him. I guess
Yeah.
I know you are in combat. So would you turn to look at this? Like, would you do you feel naturally you'd be drawn
Yeah.
to?
Oh,
100%.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Uh,
danger.
um, Shuyet, you were kind of face to face with the father. Do
Mhm.
you think you would turn to, or are you
I
focusing on
think
the?
I'd notice it. Yeah, for sure. Like,
Guys, I think looking at this is going to be bad.
Yeah, I need all of you to make wisdom saving throws.
There we go.
Oh, well, we know how historically
Oh
this has been going for me.
no. I got an 8.
Where's my
Okay.
wisdom? Oh, +1. Shit.
14.
12.
Ooh. That was a hot 11.
Okay, so everybody but Pale Nancy succeeds.
Wait, I got an
Um,
8. I got
yeah.
the lowest. What?
Yeah. Everyone but you.
Everyone but Peanuts,
Oh,
he
yeah,
succeeds.
yeah.
I
Uh,
see.
There is that moment where, again, uh, Nancy, it's not the it's not the scene. It's not the blood. It's not the death. It's not the gore, the violence. Next to it, standing there weeping, you see the ethereal form of a young dwarven man lamenting his death, a death that wasn't his time. And your inaction, your delay at getting on board the ship, you're not stopping her, that creature, that monster. His death is on your hands, and that frightens you. And you have the frightened condition for the next minute.
No.
At the end of your turn, you can continue, but he is wailing. He is lamenting his death. Renard, as you again, he lets out this thing. Mary, enough! You have to stop. And like she continues to eat, only whipping back like with a mouthful of it. And you can just see blood like just dripping down her mouth. All of you give me nature checks.
Oh, I have double proficiency in this.
Oh, no.
14.
And Grace, I am going to give you this at advantage.
Oh, nice. Okay.
14,
23.
24.
That's mad. So I got an 18 and a 19.
Okay. So for Shuyette and Grace, you recognize her for what she is, sort of. It's definitely humanoid. You tell the way in which she's shaped, the way she holds herself, the way it carries itself, its limbs, its physique, its skeletal structure. But there's something else. There's something more to it. It's a hag.
Ooh.
It was a young woman, but she has turned. And she's in that flux where she's neither woman or fae. She's that bone snapping evolution, that twisted, unwanted change within her essence, her core, her DNA, her spirit. And Xander, there's something else. There's something more, something at the edge. And a voice whispers, taste it.
Don't taste it.
And around her, you see this aura, this twisted, malformed energy. And you know it's a curse. It is Renard's action, and he's begging you, and it's that thing, you're not trying to take it out of his hands, but in that motion, you see him. He reaches for the chains that this sea hag is bound to. Again, one clasped around her waist, one on her left hand, one on her right leg, and he starts yanking them away. He's pulling on them to try and get her off the dead young man. And he does. He pulls, and there she slips. Her nails that she had embedded into the floor of the deck for grip, 3 of them break as he yanks, and the claws snap. She falls hard, and you hear a cracking as her jaw splits on the deck of the ship. She turns, face covered in blood, snagged tooth now kind of caught in her hair, violently thrashing. She is reaching at the cadaver, pulling chunks of flesh off of it, and putting them into her mouth as her father is dragging her towards the starboard side of the ship. Xander.
Okay. So Declan, you said like the curse. Is it like another like spirit that's kind of like over her?
There's something else over her. Yeah.
Okay. Xander's just gonna shout, "We need to stop her before she makes ghosts of all of us." But she's cursed, and I want to run at her a little bit. I want to use a bonus action to steady aim with my short sword to give myself advantage on my next attack roll on the current turn. Oh, so it's only if I can't move. Never mind. I move. So I don't do that. But I want to swing my short sword at what I see as like the more incorporeal thing over
Okay.
her.
I get an attack of opportunity on you from the water elemental.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. That's fine.
Um,
Or can I disengage as a bonus action from that first? As a rogue.
Yes, you can. Yeah, as a rogue, you can do it as your bonus action. Yep, 100%. And it is that thing of you see these two creatures, these water elementals, are on Grace and Nancy. You kind of spit out, and it tastes like salt water, but not natural. And as you kind of hawk it up, seeing this aura around her, you just kind of spin on your left leg and maneuver around as the elemental just lashes out with a tendril. You avoid it, Xander. You lunge at the sea hag, the young woman, screaming like Renard is screaming at you, "Stay the fuck away from my daughter!" And he pulls harder on the chains. What was your attack roll?
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you haven't done it. Okay,
That was a 18.
18 will hit.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Because he's angry at me, is there anyone who's my ally who's within 5 feet of her? Just asking for sneak attack damage.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. 1d6 plus 3. Okay, 4 plus 3, so that's 7.
7 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You lash out at the kind of that aura, that energy, and it's there. Jesus, it's. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. I can do that. I'm not very good at it. Ooh, 7.
You feel your blade connect against the young woman's back, like it slashes kind of just below her right shoulder. And there's a moment where as you enter her space, as you kind of maneuver on top of her, you feel that aura, and it is intoxicating. Xander, you can't help but just inhale it. Something in you stirs. And as you take a breath of it in, you feel this surge of energy. You can increase your strength stat by 1 point.
Oh, fantastic. My strength is now 9.
Remind me
rolled.
You take 1 point of curse.
Oh dear, that's not a very good trade-off. Override score 9. Okay.
Okay. So you use your bonus action, you use your action. Grace.
I'm going to attack the elemental that's currently on me, and I will use my. Ooh. It's a water elemental. I don't have anything that would work. How close is Mary?
About 20 feet away.
Oh, I would be able to move. Okay, Grace is going to kind of like take like a wee second to just kind of judge how close she is versus how close the elementals are to see if they'd be able to maneuver around them. And I just want to check, is Nancy paying attention to Mary or the elementals that are kind of around us?
Mary would have been like looking at, you know, the poor boy being ripped apart because she's got frightened now, so she would have been paying most attention in that direction.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to clock that your attention is away from that, and I'm going to. Oof. Actually, I'll attack the elementals. Never mind. I'll attack the elementals because I can see that they are on myself and Xander. And that is a 15, 21 to hit.
Yep, 21 hits.
Oh, where's my D4? Oh, there it is. And that is 7 damage.
Okay, and bonus action?
Bonus action, I'm going to... No, I won't use any of my bonus actions. Quick question, actually.
Mhm.
Do I still have a familiar?
No.
No. Okay, cool. Deadly. I'll make sure to update that. Yeah, so I'm going to attack and end my turn, but I'm also going to try and maneuver myself a bit to buffer Xander from the
So
elemental.
Xander disengaged and has gone to attack.
Oh, yeah, it's gone to
Yeah, I abandoned you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, listen, that's totally understandable.
I forgot about the elementals.
Grace, it is that thing of your gaze kind of shifts around what's happening on deck. You're drawn to the body of the young dwarven man who you don't even know his name. You were helping him only moments ago, and now he is just a pile of blood and
Viscera.
bone on the deck. You hear the screaming coming from that young creature, that young girl, that sea hag, and your gaze shifts back on the elementals. You draw your scimitar and you lash out. You feel it connect. You don't see much damage.
Yeah, I thought as much.
It is Nancy.
Nancy's going to be absolutely terrified of what she just saw, but going to be kind of snapped back into action with Grace attacking the elementals beside them. So Grace, no, Nancy's going to swing round and just out of habit, just Eldritch Blast the elemental that had hit her, and it will be natural one. Pew!
You pull on the magic. You can see it. You can feel it. You know the color. You know how it burns. You know the pressure. How it feels against your skin. As you draw it up, you just hear a moaning. Why? I I didn't want to die. And your gaze shifts back to the young man, and then the elemental sees your tension lapse, and does a 16 hit.
It does. Do
6
I not get a
bludgeoning.
bonus action?
You can still take a bonus action, yeah, but you'll take 6
Oh, is it
bludgeoning damage.
reaction?
Yeah, so it gets
Okay.
a free reaction on you, or attack of opportunity on a nat one, but you get the same on them. As you, yeah, there's just this wallop of water, as it just bludgeons you into the side of the head. Bonus action.
Bonus action, just from the side of the boat is going to come up another tentacle, and it's going to swipe at it. No, does a 6 hit?
No, 6
Oh no,
doesn't.
pardon me. Does a 9 hit?
Almost, but no.
There's so many cool things. I was gonna summon flock familiars, and they're gonna be little rats that chased after the captain and started biting him.
Oh.
No.
The
Guess
dice
I'll
give
die.
it and the dice take away. Yeah, guess we'll just have to die.
Remember when I got 2 natural 20s?
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah,
That's my
it is
turn.
that. It's that moment, Nancy, where you pull on the magic. This time it comes to you, that cold rush of water that wallops into you, snaps you to your attention, and you feel it, like you pull on the magic. It rises up behind you, and this tentacle snakes underneath the railing on the ship, and it wallops into the elemental, but you don't see it even shift. It kind of rides next to you. The elementals are going to go after you and Grace. Um, and I assume a 6 doesn't hit Nancy. Um, but a nat 20 Grace is going to hit
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for take 8 bludgeoning damage.
Ooh, damn.
Um, and does a 16 hit Nancy?
It does.
3 bludgeoning damage. And a
Yay.
9 won't hit Grace. So yeah, they continue. It is just this wall of water that just beats down, and it's the thing of, as you find yourselves trapped into it, you actually feel it sort of shoving you violently against the railing as well. Like once or twice, Nancy, you feel the rim of the railing just crack into your back hard, almost knocking the air out of your lungs. It is Chouette. It's your action.
Perfect. How far
Renard is pulling on the chains. He ran past you. Um,
do I get
but
an attack of opportunity from that?
well, I didn't give you one only because you didn't have weapons out.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
But
Um,
if there was something you wanted to do as he ran past,
no, I think I'd rather cast Hold Person on Mary,
okay.
possible, which is a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. That is a 21.
All right, so nothing happens.
Okay.
Uh,
Bonus action.
bonus action, actually, yeah, bonus action. I think I'll draw the. Sorry, I should. I know I had this 2 seconds ago. I promise. The flame sword, flame blade.
Yep.
I can do as a bonus action on the chain. Actually, try.
You want to strike the chains.
Yes.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
Ooh, that's a nat 1 for a total of 8.
What is happening?
This is bad, guys. This is bad.
It's terrible.
It's not great now. Yeah.
So in that, you there's a moment where you see that you can't rip, like you rush the magic out at her. You see that young man kind of like lash out and then lose himself as he stands next to her.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever it is in her magic, whatever it is in her energy, he seems swept up in it. You lock eyes, you bring your hands together like vines clasping around the earth, and you lock them into place, yet the magic doesn't take hold as you grab her. And then immediately you pull your hands free and slice down. You illuminate with this green light, and the energy just reverberates off the chains as the magic connects but doesn't find. And in that moment, Shuyet, you see the chains light up, and the chain around Renard's neck glows. It is Mary's action. And Mary, just in full panic, just scrambling back at trying to claw at the dead body, pulling on the chains against her father, twists her body, and there is just a cracking sound. And Xander, you hear it louder than anybody else. She has twisted her pelvis in an unnatural way. It's almost like she's missing those bones. and she turns, her eyes look up at you, and you just see these rotting black teeth, razor like a shark's teeth, and she hisses up at you, and her hands lash out, and there is a flash of lightning. I need Xander, Grace, Nancy, and the elementals to make dex saving throws.
Okay.
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
I'm gonna need it.
Not 20.
Okay.
Hang on, do I have to do that with disadvantage?
A frightened. No, it's only disadvantage if you're attacking her, I think.
But not for saving?
I don't think so.
Let's see. Yep, it's ability checks and attack rolls, so not saving throws.
Yeah,
Thank sweet baby Jesus. What's
somebody in chat,
15?
sorry, Homebrew Show just said, I don't see a lot of saving grace happening. TP killing grace, sure. Somebody
We're
please clip
trying.
that. Please clip that. Okay. And with that, let me try spell save DC. Did anybody get less than, where's my spell save DC? 12.
Yes.
Oh, baby.
Oh no.
I got 8.
That's less than 12 for sure.
Oh no.
Done. Oh,
You're safe.
you
Okay,
back.
I think sorry, I'm back. I promised my this is the curse of Ben. Grace, you got 8.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody else passed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, I don't like that facial expression.
No.
And then
It's nice knowing you guys.
Rip. That was a quick season.
okay, Grace, I need you to take 27 lightning damage.
Lightning!
Oh,
Everybody else, I need you to take 14.
Oh my god.
Don't
Um,
like that.
As
27.
the 27 lightning damage, yeah.
27.
27, yeah.
Is anyone a healer?
I have some
There's-
healing spells.
And I'm over here. I was interrogating somebody. I'm Shia.
Okay.
I have a book. I'm alive. There's this moment where Xander, you see it. You see her eyes light up, and they are just this murky, inky, black, swirling mass of rage and hunger. And the sky just flashes with this sheet lightning as she scratches out, and lightning cascades from her fingertips in this arcing wall of a blast that shoots outwards. The whole port, like half the port side of the ship, is blown open. Like 5 feet of it is just exploded into nothing. Just these burnt, flashing red embers that explode outwards into the sea as thunder follows the wallop. And each of you are struck. The elementals are dissipated. They explode into just these piles, these bubbles, these puddles of steaming hot liquid that burn as they catch your skin. And she turns, the chains are yanked again by Renard. And as she pulls herself up onto her feet, she runs straight at the captain, and she barrels herself into him, wrapping her arms and her legs around him. And you just hear Rin shouting out, "Captain, no!" And Captain Renard and the Sea Hag go spilling over the side of the ship. You watch as the chains spiral after them, the sound of the clinging and the metal. Rin goes to grab, to pull, to hold on, and their hand is snagged behind the chain and the port side of the ship. There is a cry of pain as the chain rips through flesh. cracks and smashes through bone. They are screaming in agony as they try to pull their hand away. Shuyet, being the closest, do you go to assist or?
I'm probably not going to grab the chain after seeing that.
Okay.
But I wonder if there's. Sorry, I wonder if there's something like spell I could do. I don't think there is though. Uh, no. Uh, no, he's going to watch it happen.
Yeah. You watch as Rin's hand is just sliced through. Their four fingers are gone. All that's left of their right hand is just the bottom section and a thumb. As the chain rips and kind of snags through, it's now ripping through the wood of the ship. It stops, and you just see it kind of disappear under the water. Give me a perception check, Shiet.
Yep. 12.
Not enough. You don't see where it's gone. You don't see kind of where the chain came from. What had kind of where it had snagged or pulled. It just sinks beneath the ship. Rin collapses, holding their hand, just screaming and howling in pain, crying out for help. And there is a moment where, as the creature and the captain disappear over, with that flash of lightning, that wallop of thunder, you don't notice at first because all you hear is just Rin's howls of pain. You see the viscera of the young man on the deck. The storm has stopped. The sea has calmed instantly. The swirling black quietens, the rage tempered, the hunger sated. As Captain Renard and the sea hag disappear below the black waves. 3 days pass, and the events of the night of the storm are talked about in hushed whispers. Guests and passengers aboard the Blue Mary are asked to keep themselves to their quarters, to the canteen, and are permitted access to the deck twice a day for air and for a brief walk. The crew now largely keeping themselves separate. The bodies of the two crewmen lost in the storm, the woman who broke her neck falling from the crow's nest, and the dwarven man torn asunder by the hag, have been stowed away for proper burial in Rotherham. Rin occasionally checks in, their hand now covered and bandaged. There is a thick black stain where you see the blood continues to kind of seep. Their form has changed entirely. Their attitude is cut off and distant. And it's here on the cusp of the afternoon on that third day, 5 days in total aboard the Blue Mary. You hear a call from the crow's nest. Cragfarnham Isle. Land. And shortly afterwards, an announcement from Rin, first mate of the Blue Mary. All passengers wishing to leave Cragfarnham Isle to present themselves on deck. Baggage and parcels to be taken off ship. And as the Blue Mary moors at the harbour on Cragfarnham Island, it is a sore. It is a jagged, rocky thorn sticking in the hump of the swirling black. It is a cold, desolate, sharp, bleak rock sitting in the middle of the sea, thumping away in its own, sticking out and fading in. It is lost. It is alone. It is separate, desolate. It is Cragfarnham Island. And as the ship draws closer, you start to see the smattering of small houses, tiny little farms, fishing huts, scratching a living out of the craggy rock face or the swirling black sea that smashes against the cliffs. And then the town itself comes into view, and you can make out some tall, spindling, twisted houses, the harbour, the singing of a low bell, low and glum, low and miserable, chimes your entrance to Cragfarnham Isle. Rest has come to all of you, but that night stays with you. The ship docks. Rin Gale helps moor. A landing board is off-centered and placed adjoining the harbour to the ship. A stepping block is put in place, and Rin, along with a handful of some of the other officers, stand to one side, just nodding as you leave. There, Xander, Shriette, Grace, you see kind of standing to one side, pale Nancy. Largely, all of you have kept to your own right. The woman seemed unbothered, unfazed by all that had come before, while on the night itself, hollowed out by the death of the young dwarf, since returned to their senses. While many kept out of foot or out from under the foot of the crew, Nancy continued to insert herself. Nancy continued to poke and to prod, to lay rest the ghosts of the Blue Mary. Before you disembark, would any of you have continued to try and investigate the ship and what the events? Yeah, I definitely know Nancy was all about that. She's Nancy, she's pale Nancy Drew. Um,
If I find any ghosts, I'm gonna sink it.
So Nancy, I think it's a straight up investigation check, just to go digging. Grace, Xander, Shriette, what would you be doing?
I think I'd like to detect magic if that's okay.
Yeah.
I would like to just kind of look for any other signs of any weird goings on. If there's any more ghosts, any more monsters, any more spooky things, just trying to, if to weed that out to try and keep people safe on board.
Give me an insight check, Xander. I think because it's more kind of you're trying to read the atmosphere, read the energy in the space. Grace?
Ooh, 17 plus.
I would also be doing something similar, but I would be focusing a lot of my attention on like trying to get into the captain's kind of, I suppose, his office quarters, whatever you call that space, to see if, you know, like other captains, if he kept a log or a journal or anything like that.
Give me a stealth check.
Ooh,
Just
am I?
because you're breaking into a space.
Oh, I'm oddly stealthy.
Rin has kind of kept it under lock and key. And Shuyet, with your detect magic, it's very strange. You'd done this before. You had kind of tried to tap into the energy around the ship. There was something here. There was a hum. There was a force. It's there still, but it's a whisper of what it was. It doesn't seem disconnected. It doesn't seem lost. You still can feel that energy, Shiet. But if it's sleeping. Xander, what did you get?
I got 21.
The immediate overwhelming sense is just the worry that the kind of the reading the room, reading the energy of the crew and the other passengers, that another storm could rise, that that creature could attack again, sort of honing into that energy and then kind of reaching beyond it, just kind of going with your gut. You're not so sure as to why you know this or how you know this, but you firmly believe that whatever that creature was, it's not gone. It's somehow it's connected to the ship, but there is a change. It doesn't, and that you can't determine whether it's a good change or a bad change, but something feels different about it. Grace, what you get
I
yourself?
I rolled a 17.
Uh, you you managed to kind of catch, like, on that second day, like into the evening, with the Rin kind of down feeding, and like taking care of some of the passengers and some of the crew. You see that it's a little quieter on deck, and you catch your moment when you notice some of the other crew have kind of turned their back. You slip into the captain's quarters, and Nancy, you know immediately you're not alone. The energy of death, that same aura that you recognized on that young woman as a creature that has taken lives, that is shrouded in death. Immediately, the hairs on the back of your neck stand, uh, crouched low and tucked into kind of the captain's desk, as you were rifling through the log and the paperwork. Or yes, sir, you weren't looking for the log; you were just rummaging. Um, you have found some books that, like, while maybe the captain may have dabbled in the occult or may have had an interest in the arcane, these have nothing to do with the sea. These have nothing to do with controlling the elements or water. These are oaths to do with binding a soul. Uh, this is a guide on how to chain a creature's life force to something. To bind it, in the same way that devils make pacts with mortals. There are hypotheses that allow mortal sorcerers and arcane practitioners to emulate that and to bind souls, spirits, and energies to themselves. You know, as you find this tome, you know that there's somebody else in the captain's quarters. Somebody else has made it into the office. You were deathly aware that there is a bringer of death in this room. Grace, you maneuver over around kind of the cabinets and such. You going through the logs. Again, everything, it's that thing of like you're kind of just flicking through all these bits and pieces. Like everything looks to be in order.
Mhm.
And then as you pull another one of the logs out, one of the older ones, kind of nestled between them, a small little picture falls out, and you recognize it's a portrait of the captain. They're in their uniform, and next to them there is a young girl, just about
Mm.
13 or 14. Um, she's wearing this really uh, simple but delicate looking dress. Uh, she's kind of he's sitting in this kind of regal kind of chair, like this kind of official looking um, sort of kind of like official looking kind of space. She's standing next to him, her arms, like her hands are kind of holding them, and in them you just see a a marine blue, a single blossom of a blue flower held in her hands. And he's, despite the fact that it's a portrait, he's looking at her. He is beaming as he kind of fixes his look on her. And then you can hear somebody outside. You hear kind of a bit of a commotion. Someone's calling for assistance with something else. Nancy, do you look up from the desk?
Yeah, I suppose she would.
Give me a stealth check. And Grace, what's your passive perception?
12.
I got 14.
It's that thing, Nancy, you can't not look. You can't not, you have to know who this is. And as you just sort of peer over the lip of the desk, they're slipping like one of the logbooks. There's nothing in those logbooks. There's information on the ships where it docked and moored, but it's always the same: Rothahan, Cragfarnham, Nookery, so on and so forth. But you see that woman that helped you with the elementals that was pulling on the boat. She's covered in death. She wears it like a shroud, where many seem to have it cling to them, clawing desperately to be acknowledged. This woman wears it like a veil. She wears it like a second skin over herself. And it is long. And you see her slip out the doors.
When over the past 3 days, while Nancy has been on this ship, she had been sent here specifically because she had been informed that the ship itself was hunted. Is she getting the idea that the hunting of the ship is over, and it's pretty much the only thing hunted on this ship is this strange person, more or less?
It's not it's death, but they're not connected. And this is something new. And in that way that life has its own mysteries, death has its own as well. And something sets in you that whoever or whatever that woman is, wherever she goes, death follows her.
That's strange.
And your eyes lock on her as the crew pull that board across, and Rin kind of announces your departure, thanks you for your assistance, asks that you forgets, and immediately begins to palm your money back into your hands, that to keep word of what's happened to yourselves. It, as much as the story, it's not that it should be forgotten, but it would kill the ship. The young first mate has all aspirations to take the ship into their own name. And it is that thing, Xander, as they kind of palm the money, like one of the other crewmen palms the money into your hand. You do see Rin kind of like makes eye contact with you, and kind of that cold exterior drops for a moment.
I would like to, as I'm like then disembarking from the ship, I refuse my money back. But I want to I want to send a message to Rin, because I'm assuming they're within like 120 feet of me. And as I'm disembarking, I just kind of want to like nod, acknowledge them, and go, "Captain," and disembark.
You just hear it's that thing, Xander. As you send the message out, a message comes back. Um, you can always call on the Tidewalker, and there is kind of Rin goes back to kind of saying goodbye to the passengers. At this moment, barreling down the docks, all of you can kind of plainly see this young, scraggly, scrawny gentleman in a very form-fitting suit. This bushel of wild brown curls and a leather knapsack just bursting full of scrolls and paperwork, uh, just uh, bounding down towards the ship. Uh, you just hear them calling out, uh, uh, Miss Grace Stormfield, and it's at that moment that we lay eyes on Byron. Was it Harkfield? Did I get that right? Why do I have Harkfield in my head? I have
Alice, you're muted.
Yeah, it's Harkfield.
Cool. Okay, I was like, it's Byron Harkfield. Yeah. What does Byron look like? Can you give us more of a description, Eilish?
In my head, he kind of looks like Spencer Reed from Criminal Minds.
Oh yeah.
That like super scrawny, nerdy.
Go on.
Limbs are too long, somewhat charming.
You lost me. You lost me.
Slenderman. He looks like Slenderman. No, but he's just like, that kind of awkward,
gangly.
Doesn't know how to carry himself in.
He goes down the plank like a slinky.
Oh my god!
Oh no,
baby giraffe.
Yeah. And he's very like, as you said, kind of very bumbly and nervous and late, apparently.
And Grace, you hear her name being kind of called out sheepishly.
Grace is just going to acknowledge Ren and also not take their feedback and like just quietly say, I know this wasn't your doing. Thank you. And they're going to kind of put a hand up and say, I am Grace, and head over to this gangly fellow. Whereabout is Pale Nancy actually?
Still on deck, had been kind of eyeballing you. Like
She's leaning over with a cigarette just hanging out her mouth, just looking at Grace.
Would I have gotten that feeling of being watched?
Everybody gets that feeling that they're being watched by Pale Nancy, even if Pale Nancy's not watching.
Okay, so after kind of getting that feeling and being like, oh god, I'm going to kind of like scan my eyes and spot Pale Nancy, because we did meet briefly, and just going like a very like tiny, almost like imperceptible kind of like nod as I make my way off the ship. And yeah, you can actually see the weight is kind of lifted off them as they touch land again, and they just want to like almost fall to their knees and just touch the ground, but they won't. They're like trying to be cool and aloof.
Shuyet, you see that, like, again, you see that gentleman kind of calling out to that woman, Grace. You all notice that there's a skeleton crew of dock workers. Like, if you thought there was nobody working at Nookery, there's half that working here at Crag Farnham. They're all cold, they're all rough, they're all sort of weathered looking individuals, hard pressed in leather aprons and scruffy bundled up rags of clothes, kind of clinging them as like shields against the cold and the elements. Some pulling at fish baskets, others kind of helping take stuff off the ship. None seem to pay any mind. Shuyet, you notice there is a sign kind of pointing up the road and around and away from the harbor for the crooked mast quarter mile.
Okay. He will walk towards that, but on the way, just kind of check the lay of the land, like the flora, fauna sort of situation. What's growing here? What's different?
Give me a nature check.
22.
It's really strange. Like, again, you do notice that there are like the usual, like like you can see kind of crabs, you see kind of gulls, you can see kind of fish, kind of seaweed, like nothing kind of out of the ordinary
Mm.
until you kind of move um until you move kind of further in, like off the dock itself and kind of up onto the road. And at this point, like, Nancy, Xander, have you kind of left the ship as well, kind of with Grace talking to this young man?
Yeah.
You overhear their conversation. There's only one tavern, like there's only one inn on the island, and that inn is the Crooked Mast. Um, and uh, he seems to be blathering on about the weather and the ship and the journey, paying no heed to the traumatic-looking crew uh, or how weary everybody kind of looks that's gotten off. But Shuyet, it's really strange. You notice, because you've read about them, you've never seen it. They're quite rare. Um, they're incredibly toxic, and they're known. They're more commonly known as dead man's fingers, but it's hemlock water dropwort roots. They are incredibly toxic plants that are growing out of the cliff like roots, just sort of hanging out. They do look like these twisted knobby roots. They look like waterlogged, dead, decaying fingers, twisting and gnarly, kind of reaching out. And you just see kind of handfuls of them at different points.
Can I assume that I would have like a jar or something to collect?
Yeah. Do you have a herbalism kit?
I'm going to say no.
I think you should. You should do.
Oh, I do. I do actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to take a sample?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and write down where they are in my notebook.
Okay. Yeah, it's a thing of, so you busy yourself on that walk up. You have taken a cutting of the root. It has this pungent smell to it. Like it's not rotting, but it's strong. It's kind of, weirdly enough, it's kind of got a kind of a peppery odor to it, or a hum to it. And these are the notes that you draft into your journal. And as we drift up this road, Byron spouting on about the best food in the Crooked Mast, that they've arranged for the best room for Grace, that there's plenty to see and do. They'll talk about, and all of you hear the name, the Blackmoor Estate. Plenty of time for that. That is where we leave tonight's session.
Declan, I have one question.
Yes.
Do I still have +1 curse? Because
You do.
I've been. Oh dear.
You do.
Oh, lovely.
No.
Do I still here? No. Do I still have +1 strength?
Yes, you do.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Still a
Yay.
-1 modifier.
But you do have +1 strength. You got a +1 strength, and you have a +1 curse.
Lovely, lovely.
That's it for Saving Grace this week. We're back in 2 weeks' time for the next episode. I'm so excited because we've got our full crew, pardon the nautical pun, and it's only now that the real story begins.
Oh my god.
And I'm so excited to start telling it all with you. Very, very quickly, a big thank you to Emma, Soph, Kat, Eilish, and Tendai for just absolutely killing it. And I leave you with this. As you make your way into the crooked mast and you find food for your belly, bed for your weary bones, we move back down the road as the Blue Mary begins to pull anchor and head north, continuing on its journey to Rotherham. A young Rotherham traveler stands on the starboard side of the ship, a cigarette pursed between their lips. She inhales a mouthful of dragon's ash tobacco. And as she feels it fill her lungs and she looks up into the night sky, she exhales a sigh of relief. And there's the clinking of chains. There's a hissing cry of hungry as two hands lunge out of the water and tear her from the ship, ripping her in half before she even has a chance to scream. We're back in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you then.
Yay! Bye.
Lived.
Bye, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.